Now, 2 years ago, I made a video on the best way to declutter your wardrobe, and I still feel that is an absolutely amazing video that I stand behind. But when it comes to shoes, bags, and accessories, I think there is even better way to declutter than to just try every single piece on. And that's exactly what I want to share with you today. But instead of just me sharing all of the different tips, I'm actually gonna go over to my mom's house and we're gonna declutter her shoe collection so you can see how this works in real life. As always, we're gonna do the quick before. So this is her shoe closet, as you can see. She has everything in here, and then she also has some things in the hallway. Things are a bit messy, but you can see all of her shoes right here. We have the little puppy, Ruby, hello, hello, and then more shoes right there. So now we're gonna start decluttering. Now how we're gonna do this is first we're gonna clear a nice little surface on the floor, and then we're gonna create 4 different rows for shoes so we can have a clear idea what she's wearing and what she's not. And this is something that I actually discovered by accident, because years and years and years ago, I remember I had such a huge shoe collection and I had trouble decluttering them, and I just wasn't sure what was going on. So I said to my husband, okay, let me do a little experiment. And I just started putting shoes on the floor and I just rearranged them in different order, and that's how I discovered this little system of decluttering. And pretty much all that you have to do here with your shoes or bags or accessories, or you can even do this with jewelry, whichever category you pick, you want to divide all of these items in one category in 4 different sections. Now, row number 1 are gonna be items you absolutely love and you wear them all of the time. They're staples in your wardrobe and you just cannot get enough of them. That should be a no-brainer. Then the second row are items that you wear quite frequently, but not as much as the first row. You still like this item, or maybe you're just a little bit indifferent about them, but you still, you know, enjoy wearing them, or you wear them frequently. This is something that I would put in the second row. Then the third row would be, I would say, special occasion items. These are items that you wear maybe once to 10 times a year, something like that, with special occasion, or it doesn't even have to be special occasion, you just wear them in a very specific way. That makes sense. And lastly, row number 4 would be items that you haven't worn ever, or you haven't worn in the last year. So that's all that you have to do. Once you have your category, put them in 4 different sections. This is the aftermath. We have the first row, the second, the third, and the fourth. And in case you're curious, she currently has 40 different pairs of shoes. And the reason we want to do this and put everything in sections is because now we're gonna analyze. This is step 2, because we don't want to just declutter, we want to learn from our decluttering. And you just want to look at some commonalities. So if you look at the first row, we can see that she has dark items in here. She has loads of sneakers in here, and also every single shoe is flat in the first row. So this is something she wants to remember for future purchases. And obviously everything in the first row is gonna stay. Then the second row, again, she has loads of flat shoes in here. She also has loads of seasonal items like Ugg boots and snow boots, all of that, and sandals. So that's the reason they're in the second row and not in the first. And then we also have just 2 pairs of shoes with a little bit of the heel. So that's also very important for her to note. Also the color, we have the black, we have the nude, we have the white. So again, I would say that the second row can easily stay. But now if you look at the third row, we're gonna see loads more heels in here. We have heels here, 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 over there, so loads more heels. A lot of shoes that are actually really worn out. That is actually a good sign. So we have the sneakers right there, and these shoes, they're kind of worn out. And then she also has boots in here, so that's something she can keep in mind, that she doesn't really wear high knee boots all that much. So that's the third row. And my rule of thumb here would be to keep 1 to 3 pairs only, because like I said, these are shoes that we wear just maybe 1 to 10 times a year, so we don't need to have a huge selection in here. And then the fourth row is things that she never worn. And if we look at the commonalities here, we can see these shoes are mostly worn out, very heavily worn out. These shoes right here, this, these are really in bad condition, and also some shoes that are really not her style. And obviously the fourth row should go entirely, but as I'm talking about this and you feel panicked that you have to declutter anything that it's not in the first or the second row, don't worry, because I also have a special trick for items we're not sure about. But now, like I said, we're gonna go through everything and declutter loads of things in those two rows. This is what she's keeping. She decluttered the entire fourth row, and this is everything she kept in the third row. It's a little bit more than I would suggest, but that is fine. I don't want anyone to force themselves to declutter something they might potentially wear in the future. And she said she still loves these items, but because of her job she doesn't get to wear them very often, so that was her reasoning, and that's why we kept so many pieces. Then the second and the first row are gonna stay, obviously, and in total she kept 27 pairs of shoes and she decluttered 13. So this is how the process should look like, and this is everything that she's decluttering. And luckily she has two pairs of shoes that I really like, so I'm gonna try these two on to see how I feel about them. And now for the after, this is the hallway section. We cleaned everything and she just has two most worn shoes right here, but then she also has all of the other shoes in the rows like so. And then we also reorganized everything in the drawers. So these two drawers are full of shoes. Everything is appropriate for summer, and because we did such a good job there, now this wardrobe is actually completely empty on the left, and she only has everything on the right, which I think is a pretty amazing result today. But now to the little hack that I mentioned before, with shoes you're not sure about. As you can see on this shelf, she has shoes that were in her third row. These are kind of special occasion shoes, and for this kind of shoes my recommendation is to schedule them in your calendar to wear them, because usually when we keep loads of shoes in the third or even the fourth row, it's because we're holding on to some kind of fantasy with them. We're gonna wear them and it's gonna be amazing, and we're gonna have this kind of event and this kind of event, but that's usually, like I said, just a fantasy. And when you schedule them in your calendar to wear them, you kind of let go of that fantasy. You realize how comfortable and practical the shoes actually are. So when you're doing this and you have any shoes you're not sure about in the third or the fourth row, put them in the calendar to wear them very soon, so you can then potentially declutter them. And now we're back, and I have these two pairs with me because I'm gonna add them to my minimalist shoe collection. But also I quickly want to share an important story when it comes to decluttering, because I have a confession to make. These shoes I bought by myself years and years ago, and then I decluttered them, and luckily my mom kept them so I can have them in my collection again. But the point of the story is that if you're not sure about something, leave it. You don't have to force yourself to declutter, because I remember when I started my decluttering journey, I just went full in and I just kept decluttering and decluttering. Even if I wasn't sure about something, I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna declutter it. I don't need that much, I'm a minimalist, all of that. So that's also something that I wanted to add when it comes to decluttering. Use all of the tips that you've seen in this video today, but always listen to yourself, so something like this doesn't happen to you as well. Because not very often can you take back things that you already decluttered. I actually didn't even know my mom kept this, otherwise I would take them sooner. But yeah, that's a short little story when it comes to decluttering. Now if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up, and if you haven't seen my other decluttering video on how to declutter your wardrobe the best way possible, I will link it right here. Thank you for watching today, and I will see you next time.